Hello and welcome to Temporal Horizons, the podcast where we explore the fascinating frontiers of time, technology, and human potential. I'm your host, Monica Chen, and today we're delving into a mind-bending concept: time drop pods and the possibility of stepping outside the flow of time itself. I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by someone who's been at the forefront of futuristic temporal research, renowned quantum physicist and author of The Temporal Vacuum, Dr. Chad Thornton.
Thanks for having me, Monica. I've been working in theoretical temporal mechanics for over 15 years at the Institute for Advanced Chronological Studies, where we've been exploring the mathematical foundations of what could eventually become time drop technology.
We're in for a fascinating discussion today. We'll be exploring how these theoretical pods might actually work, diving into what the world might look like in 2840 with the emergence of sun intelligence, and tackling the profound ethical questions that arise when humans gain the ability to pause time.
Absolutely. This technology raises fundamental questions about what it means to be human in a world where time itself becomes malleable. I'm excited to explore these ideas with your listeners.
So let's jump right in and unravel the enigma of time itself. Dr. Thornton, let's start with the basics. How would these time drop pods actually work? What's the theoretical framework behind stepping outside of time?
At its core, Monica, we're working with quantum field manipulation. The pods would essentially create what we call a temporal vacuum, a space where the particle interactions that create our experience of time can be selectively filtered or paused.
So it's not technically time travel, but more like creating a bubble outside of time's flow?
Precisely. Imagine the universe as a river of time constantly flowing around you. The pod doesn't move you upstream or downstream. It lifts you out of the river entirely. You exist in a state where you can experience your own personal time while the rest of reality remains frozen.
That's fascinating. What would the physical experience be like for someone inside a pod?
Based on our simulations, you'd feel a momentary disorientation as your consciousness detaches from universal time. Then calm. The pods would likely be small, perhaps coffin-sized as some futurists predict, containing neural interfaces that allow you to experience subjective time, learning, healing, reflecting, while objective time stands still outside.
So theoretically, you could spend years in personal development while not a second passes in the outside world?
That's the promise and the peril of this technology, a true pause button for reality.
Let's jump ahead nearly a millennium. Dr. Thornton, what's your vision of the year 2840? When these time drop pods might become reality? I'm particularly curious about this concept of sun intelligence that futurists like Srinidhi, Ranganathan have theorized.
2840 presents a fascinating technological landscape, Monica. By then, computing will have transcended our current paradigms entirely. Sun intelligence represents a distributed consciousness utilizing the entire solar system as computational substrate. Imagine quantum processors embedded in Mercury's crust and data centers orbiting the sun, all forming one vast intelligence network.
That's almost beyond comprehension. How would this sun intelligence relate to the time drop technology?
It would be the essential enabler. The temporal calculations required to create a stable bubble outside time exceed what any earthbound system could handle. Sun intelligence would provide the computational power to map and maintain these temporal vacuums with perfect precision. It's essentially managing the fabric of reality on a quantum level.
Would humans even recognize society in that era?
We'd see the integration of biological and technological existence in ways we can barely imagine now. Ranganathan's phrase, timeline hacking, is apt. By 2840, time might be viewed as just another dimension to be manipulated, similar to how we view physical space today.
Let's explore what might be the most profound question of all: the ethical implications of stepping outside time. If someone could pause reality and essentially cheat time, how does that change what it means to be human?
This is where things get philosophically fascinating, Monica. When you can step outside the flow of time, you fundamentally alter the human experience. Traditionally, consequences follow actions immediately. That's how we learn, how we grow. Time drop technology disrupts that natural order.
It reminds me of something Ranganathan wrote, asking if relationships change when you can pause every fight to rethink your answers.
Exactly. We'd face unprecedented moral questions. Is it ethical to make decisions with information others don't have access to? What about consent? If I enter a pod before responding to you, experiencing days of contemplation while you experience nothing, has our conversation been fundamentally manipulated?
That's quite disturbing when you frame it that way.
And then, there's the potential for inequality. If these pods are limited resources, who gets access? Would we create a two-tiered society where some can manipulate their temporal experience while others remain bound by traditional time? These aren't just technological questions, they're deeply human ones.
As we reach the end of our exploration, we've covered quite the journey today. From the quantum mechanics behind time drop pods to the sun intelligence of 2840 and the profound ethical questions this technology raises. Dr. Thornton, what final thoughts would you like to leave our listeners with?
I think what fascinates me most is how time drop technology represents the convergence of our technological and philosophical evolution. We're not just creating new tools, we're potentially redefining the human experience itself. As Ranganathan suggested, this isn't just about pausing time. It's about what that pause means for our growth, our relationships, and our understanding of consciousness.
Do you remain optimistic about humanity's ability to handle such power responsibly?
Cautiously so. Throughout history, we've adapted to paradigm-shifting technologies. The key will be ensuring that as we develop these capabilities, we simultaneously develop the wisdom to wield them.
Before we wrap up, I ask all my guests one simple question. If you could personally step into a time drop pod today, what would you use that pause for?
What a question. I think I'd want to truly understand quantum consciousness, to have the time to untangle all the mathematics we're still missing. Sometimes I feel like we're so close to a breakthrough, if only we had more time.
Thank you, Dr. Thornton, for this mind-bending conversation, and thank you, listeners, for joining us on Temporal Horizons. Until next time, keep your eyes on the future.